Hello friends, Pat Boone here. Over the years, I've been very fortunate to be able to travel all over the world. I've been to beautiful places. I've seen lots of amazing things. But when I was at home recently, an old friend called and said he wanted to show me a very interesting product that he thought I'd really like. Well, I told him to come on over. First, let me tell you, I get approached with products all the time, so I'm always skeptical, as many of the products are just not what they're cracked up to be. I've been very conservative over the years. Yep, that's right, conservative. But when I do find something I like, something I think can help millions of others, I speak up and help spread the word. And that's exactly what happened here. Now, I'm in pretty good shape. I work out daily. I watch what I eat. For years, I've been buying bottled water, like so many. I carry it with me in the car, to the gym, to the office. So when he told me that the bottled water I was buying was actually very acidic and not as good for me as I thought, I was curious. I wanted to learn more. He told me about a machine from Japan that he had at his house and how it could change my tap water into really healthy, great tasting water filled with powerful antioxidants, and that a lot of people were feeling a lot better just by drinking different water. He said the machine actually changes the molecular structure of the water. Well, now I was starting to think he was full of it. I mean, water is just water, right? Well, it turns out that all water is not the same. We're finding that out more and more. This technology is used at hospitals, restaurants, and homes throughout Japan. In fact, this machine is classified a medical device in Japan, and it's manufactured in a certified factory. Now, I've traveled to Japan many times over the years, and I've always been very impressed with their culture, their family values, their ingenuity, and their health. Japan ranks right up there as one of the healthiest populations in the world, and they tend to live longer than we do. Here in the U.S., the adult population, and even more concerning to me, our children, are facing record amounts of obesity and related problems. The human body is made up of about 70% water. And doctors agree most of us just don't drink enough water. For a lot of people, the daily diet consists of fast food, processed food, and soft drinks. About the only time they drink water is to swallow their medication. So what's different in Japan? Well, many experts think diet and water play an important role. When I heard that this machine was from Japan, the company was over 30 years old, and the founder was an incredibly healthy, energetic visionary in his 60s, well, of course, I wanted to learn more. They shared stories about people with gout, people with diabetes, people suffering with acid reflux, and people who were losing weight by just drinking the water. Then I started thinking there are different grades of gas, different qualities of wine, so it was starting to make sense there could be different qualities of water as well, right? The bottled water industry has invested billions of dollars trying to convince us that their water is better than tap. The filter companies tell us that their filters can improve the taste of your tap water. The environmentalists tell us that the plastic water bottles are clogging our landfills. And other studies warn us that the plastic used in some of those bottles may be linked to cancer. It's confusing. So what do? Well, you try to keep an open mind. Like me, my friend stepped up and he put his money where my mouth was. He wanted me to try the water, and he said, just try the water, see for myself. What did I have to lose? It wasn't pills or potions or sugary drinks. It was just water. What if it could provide some relief and better health to lots of people just by changing the water they were drinking? Was that possible? Well, Stan also gave me this book to read. It was written by Dr. Hiromi Shinya, the world-renowned gastroenterologist. In case you don't know, a gastroenterologist is a doctor who specializes in the digestive system. Dr. Shinya has impeccable credentials. Each year, he spends 6 months in Japan and then 6 months in New York. For 45 years, he's treated kings, queens, presidents, celebrities, and thousands of other patients. He's chief of the surgical unit at Beth Israel Medical Center in New York City, and he's a clinical professor of surgery at Albert Einstein College of Medicine. He helped invent the colonoscopy, and he developed a technique for removing polyps during a colonoscopy without the need for abdominal surgery. It's actually called the Shenya method. Dr. Shenya has examined the stomachs and intestines of over 300,000 patients. He urges each of his patients to drink this special Kangen water every day, just like he does. And you can read all about it. I read this book cover to cover, and I learned so much. I was incredibly impressed with Dr. Shenya, and now I really wanted to try the water. So Stan hooked up a machine in my kitchen, and we've been drinking Kangen water ever since. Some people have asked, if the water is so special, why isn't it sold in stores? Well, there's a simple explanation. The special properties of the water only last about 3 days. After a couple of days, the oxidation reduction potential of the water has diminished. So to get the full benefit of this water, you really need to drink it fresh from the machine. Now, there's somebody here today to show you an eye-opening demonstration about the water we drink and this remarkable machine from Japan. His name is Bob Gridelli. Hey, Bobby. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you, Pat.
Why don't you take over?
Great, I will. So I want to welcome everybody, and I'm going to go into the demonstration here, and I'm going to show you the 3 unique properties of this water and why it's so very special. The first property I'm going to show you is what's called the ORP, which stands for the oxidation reduction potential. And we're going to show you that with a meter that shows whether a liquid has a positive ORP or a negative ORP. And if it has a positive ORP, that means it's bad for you, or it's oxidizing, or aging, or rusting. We all know what that is, right? And so if it has a negative ORP, that's what makes it a powerful antioxidant. So what we're going to do right now is I'm going to pour some of these liquids first. And we're going to start with Dasani. And these are, we just put together an array of liquids that most people drink, right? Did you drink any of this? Dasani? How about Aquafina? Yes. I think I used to drink all of these. And how about Smart Water? Yes?
My holistic doctor gave it.
Your holistic doctor. Okay. I'll show you what I call it in a little bit. How about the Arrowhead sparkling water? Yes? Anyone like that water?
They have different flavors.
That's why I kind of like those, all the flavors. Actually, this was my favorite water. It's called Alive. In a second, you'll see what I call it. How about sports drinks, Gatorades? Yes, everybody like those? I used to drink a lot of sports drinks because, you know, you see athletes drinking it, so it must be good for us. How about sodas? Do any of you drink sodas? Okay, and this is just tap water. Anybody drink tap water? And then this is Kangen water. Okay, so this is the pinpoint ORP meter. Now we're going to test the ORP of the Dasani. So notice Dasani is over 215 right now. Now we go to the Aquafina. How's the Aquafina? Go over 220 and climbing. How about the Smart Water? Over 230 and climbing. How about Arrowhead? Over 315 and climbing, getting worse. Alive Water. This was one of my favorite ones. 400, now I call it dead water. How about Gatorade? Any of you drink Gatorade? Like 393 and climbing. So remember, the worse, the more positive it is, the worse it is. How about 7-Up? Now, all sodas are pretty much the same, just we use light colored. So you'll see 394 and climbing. How about the tap water? 325. Here's the star of the show, you guys. Look at negative what? Over negative 400. Now negative 426. So as you can see, when it has a negative, this is the only water that has a negative. That's why they call it negative water in Japan. That's why they use it in hospitals over there, because all the positive ones are oxidizing, aging, rusting, bad, internally on the body. But the negative water is neutralizing the free radicals, so that's why we want to drink this water and hydrate your body on a regular basis. next property I'm going to show you the water is, we're going to go over here and we're going to test these waters for the pH of the water. So pH stands for potential hydrogen. And we have a little chart here where I'm going to show you, and we're going to put a few drops in these waters. And we're going to show whether they are on the acidic side or the alkaline side. And we'll just put a couple drops in each one of them. We have a nice little pretty colorful display today, right? And we'll kind of stir these up real quick so you can get a better look, and then I'll show each one of them. Let's clean that off. Let's clean it off each time. Okay. So let's go start here with the Dasani water, and we'll use this pH chart here and show. So the Dasani is what?
Very acidic.
On the acidic side, right? How about the Aquafina? Also acidic. How about the Smart Water? A little better, but still acidic, right? How about the Arrowhead Sparkling? Very acidic. How about the Alive Water? That's why I call it dead water now. How about the Gatorade?
Very acidic.
Also very acidic. And how about the 7-Up? Bet you didn't know you were drinking so many acidic things, did you? How about tap water? So right around neutral, right? So tap water is always going to be neutral to slightly alkaline because it's federally regulated by the government. So besides, the chlorine, the fluorides, they put lye in the water, which is a pH of 14, very alkaline, to raise the pH of our city water, the tap water, because if it were acidic, it would rust the pipes. So I don't think they're concerned about our pipes. They're concerned about the city pipes. So that's why it's always going to be in that range. So let's move on to the Kangen water. Now here's the star of the show. What is the Kangen water? Very alkaline, right? So with a touch of a button, we can change the alkalinity, and this one is 9.5 pH. So we all know that we should be slightly alkaline, right? Our body, because we're over 75% water. Unfortunately, look what we're drinking today, and the foods we're eating, and the air we're breathing. And so when you drink this water on a regular basis, just think about your bodily fluids, right? Now watch what happens. What did we just do? Just with a little of the water, we neutralize that and raise the pH of the water. We'll go to the Aquafina. Notice. How about the Smart Water? Notice I'm just putting in a little bit, right? So imagine when you're drinking this on a regular basis, what happened to the Arrowhead water? It was struggling, and then it went right back to acidity. That's because it's very acidic. Notice the Alive water. No change. How about the Gatorade? Also no change. How about the 7-Up? So now we'll go over to the tap water. Notice it changed pretty easily, right? So now when you're drinking this water on a regular basis, that's what it's going to help your body to do to balance your pH. Now, I'm going to take the 7-Up here. Now it's already diluted, right? Watch what happens. Now think about you're drinking this on a regular basis. Watch what happens when we just add a little bit of that. Notice it takes it right back to an acidic state, just with a few drops. If you're drinking these things, ladies, and these are all pretty much in the same range, watch the Kangen water.
Wow.
We just destroyed the Kangen water with a little bit of diluted soda. If you're drinking sodas, this is right around the pH of about 2.5, which makes it about 50,000 times more acidic if you were starting over here at the neutral point. So that's how acidic it is. And I'm just going to show you real quick. This came from Wellness Magazine. And it says, what does it show the equivalent of soda is?
Battery acid.
It shows soda equals battery. Your battery in your car, the acid level of the battery in your car equivalent to soda. So imagine, if we want to stay on the alkaline side, you definitely don't want to drink anything like this, right? So as you can see now, that's the second property of the water that makes Kangen water so very special and why you want to be hydrating your body on a regular basis. So so now I get to show you the third property of the water, which is microclustering of the molecules. And so regular water, like tap water, is about 15 to 20 molecule clusters, whereas Kangen water is about 4 to 6 clusters, so much smaller. And you're going to get to see a visual when I show you that with these green tea bags. So this is Yamamoto green tea. It's a tea that I like. And so we're going to go ahead and put one of these in here in the first cup. And what do you have to normally do to make tea?
Heat the water.
You have to heat the water. So we're going to take room temperature tap water. And notice what's happening. It's not making tea, is it? That's because you have to boil the water to make tea. So we're going to take another tea bag, and we're going to take the Kangen water. Notice what happens. What's happening to that tea bag? It's making tea instantly. Watch what happens when I go to pour again. Instant tea, right? The smaller molecules are penetrating the tea bag and drawing the tea out of the tea bag. Okay, let's take one. How about if we go back to tap water? No tea, right? So it's not a magic show, so you understand. It's just the molecules are too big to draw the tea out of there. We'll go back to Kangen water. Notice how it's drawing tea out of the tea bag. And notice this tea bag's still struggling over here, right? So let's take it back over here and let's see if we can get tea out of it. Notice, instant tea with the Kangen water. So I think you can understand with the microclustering of the molecules being 4 to 6 clusters, much smaller, how it's drawing the tea out of the tea bag. Now imagine when you're drinking this water on a regular basis, it's hydrating the body better. This water will actually reach the brain in 60 seconds, every part of the skin in 10 minutes. It will penetrate the cells much easier, carry nutrients into the cells, and carry waste products out of the cells. So I think you can see that drinking Kangen water with the negative ORP, right, the alkalinity, and the microclustering of the molecules, this should be the water of choice for everybody to drink because it's far superior water and beneficial for the body. Now we're going to show you some other properties of the water that we can use for different purposes in your home. And what we're going to do is we're going to use some tomatoes here that I just got at the grocery store. So these are some Nature's Sweet tomatoes. And how do you normally clean your fruits and vegetables at home? You rinse them in the tap water, right? So we're going to take these Nature's Sweet tomatoes, and I'll try to pluck these out really quick. And you rinse them in the tap water, right? So we're just going to simulate that by pouring some tap water in here. You ladies didn't know you were going to do a little taste test today, did you? And we're going to take another bag of the Nature's Sweet tomatoes. And we're going to soak them in what's called strong Kangen water. And strong Kangen water is at a pH of about 11, 11.5. And the reason I put it in a black container is because 3 things affect the properties of the water. That is air, light, and movement. So we always store them in black containers when we make the water and we're going to use them. So we'll just soak some of the tomatoes with the 11.5 strong Kangen water. And while those are soaking, we'll let those sit there for just a minute. And we're going to take some, this is pure sesame oil. And we're going to take some sesame oil, and I'm going to show you while those are soaking what this water can do to the sesame oil. Now what happens, basic science, what happens when you mix water and oil?
They don't mix, they separate.
It doesn't mix, right? So notice how it's starting to separate. So watch when I take the same oil and put the strong Kangen water in there.
Oh, wow.
What just happened?
Emulsified.
It emulsified or it mixed the oil. So we're going to show you today with this water how you can use it for different purposes at home to clean your produce. You can also use it, put it in a black spray bottle like I do, and clean the house with it. So we're all concerned about the chemicals in our home, right? So we can now get rid of all those chemicals and make water that you can use as a degreaser, a cleaner, your 409. You can replace all of those. So let's go back to the tomatoes. How about that? So remember, these were soaking in the tap water and simulating how you clean them at home. And I'm just going to scoop them out of here and try not to make a mess. Okay. That's the tap water. We'll set them right there. And then we're going to do a little taste test. Are you ladies up for a taste test today? Okay, let's get I call these Kangen tomatoes. Now, notice the difference. So, you thought you cleaned your tomatoes in the tap water, right? But did you really?
No.
Notice what just came off the tomatoes.
Everything.
Herbicides, pesticides, oxidation, anything that's on the produce, because they use oil-based pesticides that don't wash off in the rain. So guess what? Regular water doesn't have the ability to take those off, but Kangen water has the ability to take them off, just like it broke down the oil over here. So let's go ahead and let's pass these around. We're going to go ahead and have each one of you grab one of the Kangen tomatoes, I call them. And let's do a little taste test. Those are kind of big, so you might not want to bite them in half. I would just bite the whole thing, or you might get tomato on you. And so we're going to let them try the Kangen tomatoes really quick. Hey guys, I'm Italian, and I didn't used to like tomatoes. That's pretty sad, right? But guess what? I found out it wasn't the tomatoes I didn't like. It was what was on the tomatoes that I didn't like. So, how's the tomatoes? Are they pretty sweet? Not too bad?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So now we're going to go ahead and pass these around. And this is the tomatoes that how you normally clean them and how you normally eat them. And let's see if we notice a difference, or who can notice a difference in the taste.
Sour.
Oh, you got to get a picture of these faces. Look at the face. Look at the difference in the taste. So that now you understand why I didn't like tomatoes. Like I said, it wasn't the tomatoes I didn't like. It was what was on the tomatoes that I didn't like. Everyone notice the difference? Absolutely. The first one was much better. The first one tasted more like you got it out of the garden, right? And it was natural and no pesticides, and it was sweet. Even the texture's a little different. And the second one, you guys, because guess what? You were eating the tomatoes with this on there. And that will definitely affect the taste. And guess what? When you clean your produce with this Kangen water, the strong Kangen water, your produce will last a week or so longer. So one of the other benefits of this technology and the different waters that we can make that you can use in your home for different purposes. So now I'm going to show you the technology that makes the different waters that we showed you in the demonstration. And this is what's called the SD501, the Leveluck SD501. It's the top of the line unit that we have, and it's the gold standard in our industry. So with a touch of a button, I'll show you what we do. We simply hook this up to the sink right here. As you can see, the ordinary tap water coming out of here. And by diverting the water into the machine, as you can hear, it talks to you. So right now, that quick, we're making the water. I'm going to shut it off just so we can hear. So
Kangen Water 8.5.
as you can hear, 8.5 pH, so that's the alkaline drinking water.
Kangen Water 9.0.
9.0
Kangen Water 9.5.
and 9.5. So we have 3 levels of drinking water, and you can start on the 8.5 for a week or so. And that way get used to the water, because remember, the water has the ability to cleanse and detoxify the body of acid waste and heavy metals. And therefore, you want to start at 8.5 for a week or so, move up to the 9.0, and then end up at the 9.5 after a few weeks to a month. The next water I'm going to show you in this green section is 7.0. It's just neutral water, and it says clean water. And it's for taking medication. So when you're taking prescription medication, you want to use this water because remember, the microcluster molecule is much smaller. So that water is going to make the medication absorb much faster or be twice as strong. So when you're taking medication, just use this water. And about 30 to 45 minutes later, you can go back to using the regular Kangen water. Now, when you're taking your nutritional products or natural products or green drinks, you definitely want to use the Kangen water because you want those to work much better, right? So you want those to be twice as strong and absorb much better. The next water.
Beauty Water.
Beauty water. So everybody wants to look more beautiful, right? So you never have to buy toners again, because this water will rival your best toners that you buy in your department stores, $20, $30, $40 a bottle, $50 a bottle, because we simply change the pH of this water to about 5.5, and that's exactly what toners are, because it acts as an astringent to tighten, tone, and soften your skin. The next 2 waters.
Strong
strong acidic water. This is a water that's about 2.5 pH. And this water is very acidic. And how we make this water? By adding a salt solution that's being added to the tank as it's being electrically charged, the water. And that's how you make the strong acid water. And the benefit of that water is that water you use for sterilizing, for disinfecting. It will kill 99.9% of all bacteria within about 30 to 60 seconds. In hospitals in Japan, they use it for bed sores, cuts, burns, for skin problem, eczema, dermatitis, psoriasis, any type of dry skin problem and infection, you know, something that might cause infection on the skin, use this water for. Matter of fact, I cut my thumb, stuck a knife through it, used that water, and it stopped bleeding right away. I never even had to go to the hospital, and it healed great. So many uses of that water. So when you're making this strong acid water, coming out here is the strong alkaline water, because we're separating the water. We have the strong acid water coming out this hose down here, the strong alkaline water coming out this hose, because remember that pH scale of 14? We're always splitting that. So if we're making 2.5, subtract that from 14, and that's what's coming out here is the 11.5 that we use for cleaning. All right? So those are the different waters that we make. So let me talk a little bit about the technology, and so you understand why this is the gold standard and why everybody compares themselves to Enagic. Because what's happening first, the water's first going through a double carbon antibacterial filter where it's filtering the water first. Then it's going through inside of here what we call the engine of this machine. I'm going to show you something that nobody else shows you, especially these other machines, the so-called competition on the market today. Right back here is what is the engine, and this is 7 large platinum-coated medical-grade titanium plates. And the water's passing through these plates, and it's being electrically charged with 230 watts of power. So the two most important parts of ionization are the size, surface area, and quality of these plates, and the electrical current that's happening to the water as it passes through the plates. So remember that, two most important qualities when you are looking at an ionizer. The next thing I'm going to show you, well, let's compare a few too. I'm just going to do this because they're never going to show you this. Some of the machines on the market today, the so-called competition, is not going to show you what the inside of their plates look like. Because look at the difference. Look at that. And they call this competition? Look how small they are, you guys. These are so cheaply made. That's why none of the ionizers can really do what this does. And that's why, I'll tell you, there's one thing. The Association of Preventive Medicine for Adult Diseases in Japan, which represents 6,500 doctors, that's why they picked Enagic as the only ionizer that they will endorse. Now I think you get to understand why you don't want to go with anybody else, and this is the golden standard. One other thing I'll show you about what makes this the golden standard is we simply spin this filter off, and we have what's called a manual cleaning cartridge. No other ionizer has this on the market. And because what happens to all ionizers are they start to build up with the inside the plates, you'll get the scaling from the calcium that's in the water. And what happens to the other ionizers, they all have a self or automatic cleaning system. None of them are good enough to completely clean the machine. So we simply spin this off, put on our cleaning cartridge, and you can actually clean this machine anytime you want. So I use mine, you know, more commercially because I give away a lot of water. So I put a cleaning cartridge on mine once a month. They recommend you do it every 3 to 6 months. So, but the fact is, we can clean this anytime we want. That's why this will last 15 to 20 years. 5-year warranty on everything. So I think you can see based on what I showed you today, and you'll understand why this is the gold standard in the industry. So what I would do is get back to the person who gave you this video, and they'll show you how you can get started and get one of these in your home so you can change your water and change your life.
Bobby, I really want to thank you for that demonstration. It's very, very dramatic. I want more people to see it. I'm so glad I was just willing to try the water. What do you have to lose? Do yourself, your loved ones a favor. Try the water. Just try the water. Talk to the person who gave you this video, and they'll help you get some free water. You drink it, you share it with your family and friends. Read Dr. Sheenya's book. Ask your questions, see for yourself. This is Pat Boone saying thank you, Dr. Sheenya. Thank you, Stan. Thank you, Bobby. And thank you, Enagic.